Hello and welcome to Verse&Flame. If you're new here, I'm Chanel, the owner of Verse&Flame, and I have been wick testing like crazy for months. And I thought I would just do a quick video for those of you that are wick testing or wondering what wick testing even looks like. And so when I first started, I want to say that I did not know that your wick size matters, or that wicks even had a size. And I think I ordered a size 16 first. And let me just show you, how big these are. Okay, you can see these are just so fat, okay? And I put this in a 91 millimeter ceramic, cement all. Oh my gosh. And I put this in a cement all vessel, and I'll show you what that looks like. So, this is my vessel, and I make these. And so, my original goal at first was, let's start with glass. So I started with glass. I also did a kit first. So the kit came with everything. I didn't have to try and figure anything out or really learn about anything. I just put the kit together, and then bada bing, bada boom, I had a candle. And I had a lot of complaints that the wick towards the end was kind of like not burning. And I was like, that's weird. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own. So I ordered the size 16 wick with the vase. And I put it in, and it was like this wildfire. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And so I'm like, why is there a wildfire going on? And there are wick sizes, and you'll see this one will say Eco 10. You'll see this one say Eco 6. You'll see the Eco 16, okay? So basically, you start from a low. Even the Premier wicks or CD wicks or CDN wicks, you're gonna start low, and that's gonna be kind of like your base. So you never want to start high. So you never want to say, let me put a 16 in this vase. And a lot of websites, let me see, what's a website? Maybe Makesy has a website. And at the bottom somewhere, it tells you like what size vessel with the wick that you would most likely need. It's just a guide. Because remember, your wax will matter, your wick will matter, and your vessel will matter. So a lot of people go online and they say, I want to start a candle business, and I just need to know what vessel I use, what wax I use, and what wick will I use. And if you're going to do that, your best bet is to go on somebody's website, at Pro Candle Supply, Candle Science, and buy a kit to get you started so that you have an idea, and then see what your market looks like. Are people going to buy from you? Is this something that interests them? And that will kind of help you if you just want to start a business. Now, if you want to dive deep into it, and you're like really serious about it, you're gonna have to do wick testing. I mean, look at this. I have every wick that you can think of, and you do get what's called is like you're testing your wicks, you get burnt out, you get exhausted because you're constantly trying. And I want to show you, I poured this one and I was gonna test it, but it was low. And for me, I want to know what my customer's going to get from the get-go. So as soon as they light it. And so I thought, I tried a 785 Premier wick. It was burning so beautiful the whole time. And then kind of in the middle and at the end, it started sitting. That is not my wick. Not a 785. Okay. And then this one was an Eco 10. Now, I will say that fragrance also matters. This is a whole thing. There are some fragrances that are really thick, and your wick size can sometimes vary because that wick has to draw up that scent. And if it's a heavy, thick scent, fragrance oil, you're going to want maybe just a size up. Maybe it's weak and you need to go down a size. So you have to test every fragrance oil that you are thinking about putting out. You have to test your wicks, and you have to test your vessels to see how hot they get. Now, I chose cement all because I didn't want anybody to call me and say, look, my vessel broke, because I did do, I started off doing beeswax. And when I did the beeswax, I put it in the jars, not really made for candles, but made for like jams and things. And I left it on, I went out, and when I came back, my oldest was home. But when I came back, the glass was split, and I was like, oh no, that's crazy. And so my husband suggested, like, well, maybe you can make it. And so I started looking up, how can I make these vessels? And when I started making them, that's when I started getting into the wicks, because I wanted to have a great product that was going to have a great throw. I was going to have, and trust me, I used Black Tie Barnes. Oh my goodness. It's a Christmas tree scent, a peculiar pine. Oh my goodness, that smelled amazing. And it didn't matter which wick I used. I used 785 and I used Eco. And you can see that was like my favorite one. I burned right through it. And it smells so good, I can still smell it. And so when I burned that, the whole house smelled. So I want you also to know that not only does your wicks matter when you're smelling, there are some people who don't like that poof in your face. So you're going to have fragrance oils that really smell really great, and you might not need what's called a fragrance load. And that fragrance load can vary anywhere from 4% to all the way up to 10%. Sometimes I've seen people use 12. Now, depending on your wax, you don't want to go over that because you don't want to create a fire. So how do you know like which wick is going to be good for you, right? So you know that like a 16 is going to be for like a big vessel, something wide, okay? And I got a 785 Premier Wicks, and this probably would have been good with a little bit bigger of a 3.5 vessel or a 91 millimeter. Like if this was just a little bit bigger, these probably would have been great. But I would go down a whole size. I would go to either 775 or 765, and I would test that. And so this is how these wicks work, and I did not know that. I did not know that wick size matters. And also each wick, like Eco Wicks, they burn really hot and they mushroom. However, if you have a softer wax like soy or olive oil, you're gonna want something that really kind of burns hotter. Even beeswax uses cotton wicks. And they have to be braided, and so they do have specific ones. But when I tried, I used the Eco Wick on it, and it really burned really well. A 785 Premier Wick is a less of a mushroom, but I have found that when you use Eco, if you are using smaller sizes, they do not mushroom as much, and they give a great hot throw. I personally love Eco Wicks, and I haven't tried CDN or CD wicks. I do like the Premier wicks, and I do like how they burn as well. But my scent throw with certain fragrances are amazing with both, but I love the Eco Wicks for how hot they burn, and they drop that scent from my wax. And so when you get into testing, just know that you kind of have a lot of variables in your testing. And so I wanted to show you guys, like, I have been testing nonstop, and I was doing one wick at a time. Now you will find that sometimes you can take a double wick and it's even more amazing. And I just want to say that I found that double wicks in my cement all base is incredible. these scents before were fabulous, were just great. However, when I used the double wick, I felt like, wow. Sorry, I'm looking outside. There is a red robin just looking at me. Maybe they think I'm their friend because I'm wearing red. Oh my gosh, I want to show you. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't fly away. You see that? Say hi. Hello. All right. So, that was cool, huh? So, you know, I just wanted to make this video to help somebody who's a new candle maker, because you might not know that. Now, if you have tunneling, that's another thing I wanted to say. I never had tunneling, only with one beeswax candle, and I don't think I have it there. It tunneled down, and it was because the wick wasn't burning hot enough and it wasn't large enough. And so if you notice you have tunneling, you need a bigger wick. So let's say you started off at a 4 and you see that tunneling, go to a 6 or try 2 4s. That might even be better, or try 2 6s. It just depends. You have to play with it and see what works for you and what you really love. But I just did not know that wick size mattered. And once I didn't know that wick size mattered, I didn't know that fragrance oil mattered. So every product that I'm going to make, I'm going to test it first to make sure that my customer is going to get the greatest throw, the safest flame, and that their vessel is not going to crack on them if they decide to go out for a few minutes and then they forget. They're like, oh no, I left my vessel on. I need to know that, because accidents happen. You know, I've gone out before and I've left this on for like 4 hours and come back and I was like, oh, it's burning just fine, it's safe, you know. And have your friends will tell you the truth. You know, I've given a couple candles away and said, hey, help me with this, what do you think? And I had one friend say, that flame is really high. And I was like, why is it high? I put on there, I thought I put the right wick. And you know, it's just one of those things. And that's when I said, like, okay, if her wick, if she felt unsafe but loved the scent throw, that's not worth it. It was not worth a fire, you know, or the flame going crazy where she felt it was unsafe and let me keep it in this area so it doesn't touch anything. So you want your flame to not be wild. You want it to just look beautiful, burn, you know, consistently. And you've got to do each phase. You've got to do at least 3 test burns. You've got to do the first test burn for about 2 to 3 hours, and then do the second one, and test multiple times. Like, leave it burning for 5 or 6 hours if your vessel is safe enough, or if you want to test to see how that glass is gonna hold up to what you created. And so I hope this video helped you. I wish I had looked around on YouTube and try and find, like, do wick size matter, and somebody go in depth a little bit. I love soaking up so much information, and through the last couple months, and I'll say I have been wanting to make candles for over 5 years, and I have been studying and watching people and watching makers on YouTube. And then finally my husband said, why don't you just jump into it? And I was like, oh no, okay. And so you know, in jumping into it, I have found and learned that a lot of people don't really go on YouTube, or they don't really test, and they don't test waxes. And so maybe I'll do a next video on waxes, because I have used a few of them, and I just think that a lot of people don't know. I did not know that wick size mattered. So wick size matters. Okay, so God bless you guys. John 3:16, God gave his only son for you. And so I just want to let you know that today you are loved, you are thought of, and you are highly blessed and favored. God bless, guys, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.